Residents across Perth and the southwest are counting down to the moment lockdown is lifted at 6 o'clock tonight. After 5 days of the harshest restrictions WA's faced in the pandemic, relief is less than an hour away. Natalie Forrest joins us live from Yagan Square in the city. Nat, this is a welcome end to a pretty tough week.
Absolutely, Charlotte. 2 million West Aussies have been hoping that this lockdown will be short-lived. Now, a return to freedom is finally within grasp. For the southwest, things literally go back to the way they were last week. While for the Perth Metro and Peel regions, most restrictions will be lifted, but we do still face another week of masks and also travel restrictions. But most people will be grateful just to be allowed to leave their house. Blown away by how well WA has done in lockdown.
I'm so relieved we have got to this point and we can get businesses and our economy back open with full confidence.
A fifth day of zero cases, marking the end of tough restrictions at 6 p.m. tonight. The southwest returns to normal, while most businesses in the Perth Metro and Peel regions can reopen, but with customer limits and masks must remain.
We're certainly hopeful that all of Western Australia will get behind our WA businesses and get them back on their feet.
As the Premier offers a small financial consolation for shutting them down, $500 electricity rebates for small businesses and charities.
We expect the $500 offset will be available to approximately 85,000 eligible Synergy and Horizon customers.
West Australian small businesses deserve better than what this government has announced today.
It's cold comfort for many hospitality venues. The industry alone has lost $100 million in just 5 days.
In the future, we would certainly be encouraging the state government not to consider locking down the entire region, but localising those lockdowns if it is possible.
I just prefer, if we possibly can, to crush the virus, get it out of our system, and then reopen across the board.
But the 4 square metre rule has forced some venues like City Beach restaurant Odyssey to halt reopening, having lost 50 bookings in the space of a couple of hours this morning.
It is not viable for us to be open with a limited number of customer base.
But for those who do go out from 6 tonight, the responsibility now also falls on customers to make sure they register every place they go.
It is absolutely vital this becomes a habit.
While travel restrictions remain.
You'll be greeted by roadblocks, so we'd recommend that people check with police before they move.
The Premier unable to rule out further lockdowns if we have more cases.
With this new strain of the virus, I don't think we can be exact in what we'll do in any given circumstance. We just have to take urgent health advice and do our best to deal with it if we have an outbreak.
Now, schools and most businesses are expected to reopen on Monday, but there will be some limits and restrictions. Here's exactly how those changes will affect you.
Life has been a little different in lockdown, but from 6 p.m, it'll get easier. In Perth and Peel, you'll no longer need to stay home, but you'll have to wear a mask when heading out. The only time you can't wear a mask is during vigorous exercise. So, running or bike riding, it's not required, but you need to mask up for a walk. A maximum of 20 people can be hosted inside a house, and everyone is encouraged to wear a mask. Libraries, museums, gyms, theatres and retailers can all open their doors. Hospitality venues like bars, pubs and restaurants can open again for seated service only, but all venues will be capped with a maximum of 150 people, so a 100 square metre venue can have 25 people. Everyone will have to check in using the QR code system or by leaving contact details, otherwise they'll face fines.
Everyone has witnessed firsthand this week just how good our contact tracing team is. But they are only as good as the quality of information that they have to work with.
Nightclubs and the casino will have to stay closed. TAFE and universities can also open, but masks are mandatory. Good news for parents, school will return on Monday, but teachers and high school students need to mask up.
The Department of Education is working closely with schools around the protocols, around understanding the requirements for mask wearing, and to make sure that that's well understood by the parents and the students themselves.
Weddings can go ahead with 150 people or fewer. FIFO workers can return to site, while display homes and playgrounds are also open again. Community sport is back with no more than 150 people. Clubs urged to avoid training inside, and if you do, then please wear a mask.
Like many West Australians, I'm so relieved we've got to this point and we can get businesses and our economy back open with full confidence.
But the one major restriction that will stay at least until the 14th, people in Perth and Peel regions will not be able to travel outside their zones without a special exemption. Bo Pearson for 10 News First.